We are the anchors of Queer News Tonight, and this evening we discuss the queer headlines. FBI probes hateful texts ordering LGBTQ plus individuals to re-education camps. These texts have sparked outrage among the communities. The investigation is ongoing.
South Florida honors Trans Day of Remembrance with events, panels, and marches advocating for transgender rights and resilience through November's powerful gathering.
In 2024, 86% of LGBTQ voters chose Kamala Harris, reflecting a significant leftward shift amidst growing concerns over queer rights and protection. But actual turnout of LGBTQ is going to shock you.
Ricky Martin will perform at the 2024 World AIDS Day concert by AHF on December 2nd, honoring global health leaders and raising awareness for HIV/AIDS.
Florida's anti-LGBTQ policies spark hesitation among queer snowbirds visiting the state. However, the local LGBTQ businesses urge their continued support amidst exclusion from state tourism efforts.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Queer News Tonight. This is the world's first and only LGBTQ plus daily evening television news, broadcasting live and available on demand on your favorite streaming channels. We're proud to announce that YouTube has recognized Queer News Tonight, certified by analytics company vidIQ, and we now have more than 10 million views on the only daily live queer news show in the world. We're proud that we have more than 1,000 new subscribers in October, and that Queer News Tonight has more YouTube subscribers than any other LGBTQ plus brand in Florida. Over 500,000 of you have watched this show in the last 60 days. We say thank you for watching and supporting our voice in our community. It is Monday, November 18th, 2024. We are live and literally out of the closet and into the headlines. So many of your important stories we're going to tell this evening on Queer News Tonight.
This is the world's first live daily LGBTQ evening news show, literally out of the closet and into the headlines on Queer News Tonight.
This is the world's first and only unedited live LGBTQ evening news show. Whatever happens unique in LGBTQ news, you will see it and hear it.
Hotspots Magazine, Happening Out Television Network, is a nonprofit 501c3 media company in the same model of PBS and NPR, but designed for the LGBTQ community. Our mission is to support the 11 pillars of our LGBTQ community. We want to inform and educate the key issues of lesbian, trans, Latino, Black, healthcare, seniors, students, faith, social justice, business, and queer culture. Help us support our community.
We are part of one of the largest LGBTQ nonprofit media companies in America, Hotspots Magazine and Happening Out Television Network. In 2025, our magazine is celebrating 40 years of the LGBTQ experience, and our television news, talk, and entertainment shows support our mission to educate the LGBTQ and broader community.
That's right, Greg, and let's meet tonight's anchors at Queer News Tonight. Let's welcome Dale Stine, a celebrated photographer in the LGBTQ plus community. He is the director of music ministry at the famous Unity on the Bay and a moderator of Miami Gay List, one of South Florida's largest LGBTQ Facebook groups, which can also be found on IG as @QueerListOfficial. Welcome back, Dale. How was your weekend, puppy?
My weekend was great, jam-packed. It's good to be here. I'm excited to be here back with these great people.
Yes.
My sister.
I love you.
I love you.
Next up, let's welcome Harrison C. Davies. I'm so happy this kid is back. He's a level 10 Google local guide whose contributions have amassed over 600 million viewers. Following Harrison is well known in the community for using this platform to give hundreds of small businesses a voice and exposure in the greater South Florida region and beyond. Welcome back, Harrison.
Good to be back as always.
How you doing?
I'm doing.
I saw the pictures of you at EDC Orlando having the only time up there.
You know, that I had not heard of that festival until my brother joined the media production team for it in a leadership capacity, and I've been rocking it every year. COVID put it on a hiatus briefly, but you know, it's just fun. You get to meet, and I'd have to tell you, the vibes there and the people is just otherworldly. I think they call it plur, I think's the word. And there was a lot of plurality there.
It looked like you had fun.
Yeah, it's like kind of an unofficial like gay pride festival in a way. Yeah, a lot of allies there, a lot of fun people.
Right.
A lot of talent, and many ways.
Nice.
Yeah,
Nice butts? Were there a lot of nice butts?
People do show some skin there.
Okay.
That's for sure. Yeah,
Good, right there.
You got to get more in the GA section for that. I unfortunately, I was hanging out more in the artist lounge, so I got, maybe.
Oh my God! Mic drop! Oh my God! I was too busy in VIP.
No, I don't feel like that.
I was not with the peons that have the nice butts.
You get the best Google images up top of the stadium.
You're right.
So yeah.
You're right.
Yeah.
Well, we're happy to have you
Steve
back.
Aoki says hi, by the way.
Oh, I love him! Oh my God! Ooh, wow! For Klimt, I love that guy. He's awesome.
Yeah, he is.
Next up, let's welcome Gregg Shapiro, an inductee into the Chicago LGBT Hall of Fame. Gregg is the author of 2 short story collections and 7 books of poetry. He's an entertainment journalist whose celebrity interviews and reviews run in a variety of print and online publications. Hi, Gregory.
Hi, hon. Hello, kids.
How are you feeling?
It's good to be back. It's really fun. I'm just so happy to think that it's November and it's like in the 80s and
It's beautiful
and
weather.
It's not like
fall.
not like other parts, right?
Right? Right? You know, it's already almost about to snow in some places.
chill
Like, isn't that
here.
crazy?
No way, never again. And of course, this is tonight's lead anchor, FayWhat. She is a legendary events host, television and radio personality, and the host of the FayWhat Show on Mondays. Fay, fashionably late, produced by Alexander Zenos, is on November 30th at Hunter's Wilton Manors. Would you tell us about it, please?
Of course. Listen, you guys got to get out to Fashionably Late, all right? Experience an unforgettable evening with Alexander Zenos in his latest production show, Fashionably Late, on November 30th at Hunter's Nightclub. Enjoy a dynamic performance featuring a talented band, featuring classic rock anthems, the hottest pop hits, and original music. Doors open at 6 p.m. with the show starting at 6:30 p.m. Tickets start at a mere $35, and 100% of ticket proceeds will benefit Sunshine Pride House, a local nonprofit supporting at-risk and in-crisis LGBTQ plus youth. Thank you, SunServe, for that. Don't miss the opportunity to enjoy great music while supporting an incredible cause. And Alexander Zenos is just so hot. Okay, not that that's the reason you should go see him, but it does help, right? He's so talented. He's got an incredible voice, and he loves to share his talent with our community. So go on Eventbrite and get your tickets to Fashionably Late, and I will see you then, November 30th at Hunter's. We are the reporters for Queer News Tonight, and this evening we begin with the queer headlines. The LGBTQ plus community in South Florida and across America is diverse. Our community across the world is vast. And here are the bullet points of the queer news for Monday, November 18th, 2024. First this evening, let's queer up breaking news. FBI launches probe for wave of texts ordering LGBTQ plus people to report to re-education camps. The FBI announced today it has launched an investigation into a wave of hateful texts targeting queer and Hispanic communities. This followed the wave of racist messages sent to black individuals post-election. Some texts ordered LGBTQ plus recipients to report to re-education camps. Diana Breyer, a 41-year-old lesbian, received one such text on November 10th. The message referred to an executive order and instructed her to check in for transportation to some undisclosed location for an LGBT re-education camp. It also mentioned Trump and the date of his inauguration. The FBI has not specified how the senders obtained the recipients' identities. It is also unclear if the messages originated from the same source as those targeting black individuals. Advocates like Roman Palomiers of the League of United Latin American Citizens have condemned these scare tactics as attempts to spread panic in marginalized communities. The investigation continues, but it is clearly a scary proposition for unsuspecting members of the LGBTQ plus community. I can't imagine getting a text like this. I can't imagine getting a text like this. I would be beside myself, freaked out. Like, I remember when the racist text went out the day after the election, to our black siblings, and I was like, I was in such disbelief, but then it moved to being scared, right? To being scared, because what is on the mind of these people who hate us, right? What is on the mind of these hackers? You know, and if it's not the same people who did the first ones, they're still part of the same group. They still have the same mentality. They're still thinking of these scare tactics that work because you get something on your phone saying this, and it catapults you into a sense of, is this the future? Is this going to happen? You know, my wife is beside herself since the election. And, she's like, they want to put us in concentration camps. This is what's going to happen. I mean, like, she's fearful, and she's got the right to be, and she's got, some proof as to why she is. You know what I mean? Like, Dale, what do you think?
Well, it's horrifying, and they're continuing to branch out to marginalized communities.
Yeah.
That's what's happening. It's continuing to branch out. and I think it will continue to do so, because these people, I mean, I don't like these people, the people who voted that person into office are angrier than they were before he won.
Yeah.
So they're taking it out on all the people who don't deserve, nobody deserves this kind of treatment. Nobody.
No.
And you know what's interesting also, that they use LGB. They don't even use,
Oh, 'cause I'm
they
sure
don't
they
even
have something
acknowledge
reserved.
Yeah.
our trans,
Yeah.
what it says LGBT. You're either lesbian, gay, bisexual. They don't even acknowledge our full acronym.
Our full
Not that they
acronym.
have to do QIA, but I mean, at least they're not even including the trans or the queer.
Yeah.
Well, it's hard to imagine that these are only scare tactics, especially, I'm sure you saw this, there was a neo-Nazi march in Columbus, Ohio over the weekend, and they were marching down the street with flags with swastikas on them. So, if anything, these texts and marches indicate to me that these people are serious about their hateful and deadly agenda, and now they have the man in office in January who will help them probably carry out their agenda.
And he's not even in office yet, and it's already starting. So imagine how January is going to be.
That's what I was. That's what I was about to say.
Yep.
Like
Yep.
he, Joe Biden is still the president. Kamala Harris is still our VP.
Yeah.
And just because the votes went in his favor, which 7-8 million votes, already everybody's out. Those people are out of the hatred closet.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Already, planning for January. I mean, talk about getting ahead of things, and not in the
but not in the best way.
No, wrong way.
And is it messed up that when I read this story, my fifth thought was, okay, FBI, go probing into it. You might not exist come January anyway.
How's your stance? Right.
Yeah, the Justice Department is going to mean
Right. Right.
I mean, if Matt
So-
Gaetz is an attorney general,
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
come on.
Listen, I am
Terrifying.
waiting for the pillow guy to be appointed to something.
Oh,
Okay,
no.
tell me what he's going to be appointed to next.
Nothing.
Wow. Next, let's queer up South Florida and Florida. TransInclusive Group unites South Florida's trans community for TDOR. November is a month of remembrance, advocacy, and celebration for South Florida's trans community. This month will bring together activists, allies, and community leaders for a remarkable and powerful event supporting trans people on the occasion of the Trans Day of Remembrance, or TDOR. November, trans recognition events stand in stark contrast to the greatest trans community attacks in history by this year's election. TransInclusive Group, based in Wilton Manors, is rallying support for transgender equality through a series of events. On November 14th, it hosted a panel discussion on transgender rights and resilience at the Our Fund Foundation Auditorium in Fort Lauderdale at ArtServe. The panel addressed 2024's challenges and discussed advancing transgender equity and resilience. Continuing its advocacy, the organization, along with Ariana Center and Trans Social, will hold a TDOR march on November 20th to honor the lives lost to violence. The march will start in Wilton Manors Richardson Park and travel approximately 1 mile down famous Wilton Drive and turn south on Dixie Highway to continue to Pride Center at Equality Park. Then there will be a special program complete with food and other refreshments. Then TransInclusive Group will host the 10th annual Transgender Equality Awards on November 26th at the Center for Spiritual Living in Fort Lauderdale. For details about all these events, you can visit transinclusivegroup.org. Important events. I went to the panel, State of the Trans Community, on Thursday over at ArtServe, and Tatiana Williams led the panel, and it was an incredible panel of transgender leaders talking about what they need. They need housing. They need basic things. It's like, okay, how can we help your community? I mean, they need a place to sleep and a way to get some kind of special training to be able to, withhold themselves, get themselves going in community. The trans community has been attacked by every angle, especially the last couple of years. Trump trying to get himself elected. He used the Trump card. He used the trans card, because people still don't understand everything that there is to do with the trans community, and they don't want to learn. Let's be realistic either. But we know our community. We know how important the T is to our acronym. And this month, as Trans Awareness Month, and TDOR as a day to remember the lives that we have lost, because that is still an epidemic of high numbers. Every single year, the number goes up. I think it was like February or March, we were like at 300 plus. It's a sad day. but it's a day to also honor the people that were lost and also educate folks that maybe haven't, don't know all the ins and outs. There's a lot of unlearning that needs to happen. That is what I've learned from my trans sisters. We've been programmed, even us, even the LGB have been programmed in a way that we weren't unable to really understand their community. It's different when it's who you love as opposed to who you are. Well,
I think this is such, I have a feeling this is going to be the first of many marches that we will be taking part in following this election. But this one is especially important, and it's necessary to be there and support our trans people, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it also reminds me of, not reminds me, it makes me think of what politically, what the other side is going to be doing. The Democrats, how are we going to move forward? Because I've heard a lot of conversation. People were pointing fingers like, oh, it's because we included trans and we talked about their, the rights of trans people, and Kamala referenced it also. And so there was some finger pointing saying, oh, we can't do that. And then, of course, there are many of us like us saying, no, we must continue to not only include but to raise up.
Yeah.
To uplift,
Yes.
to be allies more than ever,
Yeah.
to talk, to reach out, to dialogue, to ask. It's so important.
It really is. Do you remember? I think it was Trans Day of Visibility that landed. Not that landed. It's always on March 31st every single year. Okay, but it landed on Easter, and there was a huge debacle about us putting it on Easter. You know what I mean? And that was not the case. That again, that just speaks to the disassociation when it comes to the trans community, that they don't want to learn about the trans community.
Pretty sure that calendar was decided thousands of years ago.
Right. What's the thing?
I don't really know where the finger point.
Right. Easter moves around every year. That day, March 31st, is always that day.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. But then again, it
I
just
think we
it
control
calls
the
for
calendar and the weather.
That's
we control the calendar and the weather. That's us, right?
Right.
If that was the case, wouldn't we send like all the bad weather to Texas and to here?
Or there'd be a rainbow in the sky every moment possible.
Well, okay. TDOR is Wednesday. It's the day after tomorrow. Make sure that you log into your social media, go on over to TransInclusive group, right, and find out which event you can go to. There are events in Miami. There are also events up here. The McKenzie Project also does events down in Miami. Find somewhere and go represent. If you've never gone, okay, maybe you also are like many in our community, right, that are afraid to ask the questions. This is the safest place that you can go to do that, right? Just ask. Just ask and say, what can I do to help? You might be surprised by the answer that you get. When I asked Tatiana and Adriana, what can I do? I understand my privilege. I know that if I go somewhere and I don't open my freaking mouth, you won't know I'm gay, right? What can I do for you? Okay, we're going to put you to work. You're going to now host every single year Trans Day of Visibility. And I said, hell to the yeah. Time, talent, and tithing. You give whatever you can give.
Right.
Okay, and our trans community needs it now more than ever. All right. If trans healthcare is taken completely off the table for our siblings, they're going to be in an awful, awful state. We must come together and be there for our trans community. Okay.
Next, let's queer up politics. Increase of 22% in LGBTQ vote for Democratic president, while overall turnout was way down. In the wake of the 2024 U.S. election, where Donald Trump declared victory ahead of official results, LGBTQ voters showed a notable shift to the left. According to an exit poll by Edison Research, 86% of queer respondents voted for Democratic candidate Kamala Harris. In contrast, only 13% cast their votes for Trump. While Trump's rhetoric of a golden age and claims like "help our country heal" resonated with many, it didn't sway a large majority of the LGBTQ electorate. The exit poll, conducted across 10 key states, reflected a clear trend of queer voters moving away from right-wing politics, especially in the wake of escalating attacks on trans rights and access to gender-affirming care. The results mark a shift from the 2020 election, where only 64% of LGBTQ voters backed Joe Biden and 27% voted for Trump. The recent election saw that the Democratic vote among the community surged by 22% from 2020. Trump's campaign trail, laden with divisive rhetoric and anti-LGBTQ language, seemed to have played a part in cementing this trend. As LGBTQ rights remain under threat, particularly with Project 2025 on the horizon. This shift signals a growing political engagement and alignment with progressive values among the queer community. However, we cannot ignore the fact that despite the increase in support for Democrats, there was a drop of an estimated 450,000 in overall queer voter turnout in 2024 as compared to 2020. What could be the reason behind it? Does this mean a small part of the community is not ready to trust in both the parties when it comes to queer rights and protection? Analysis and conversation continue on why so many LGBTQ did not vote in 2024. Well, really, the most simple thing I can say is it's about fucking time. I mean, really. I can't even believe, it's really hard for me to fathom that even there are numbers of any percentage that vote against their own rights. But it is happening, and it's a lot, and they're very verbal, and they're very out there. But the trend is at least, I wouldn't say comforting, but it gives you it's a bit uplifting.
Yes.
At least there's a trend.
But it is disturbing that the self-loathing 13% of homosexuals, also known as roaches for raid, voted for the convicted felon. What is wrong with these people? Seriously, 13% is not a small number.
No, it's not. But it also makes me think that there are probably more closeted Republicans in our midst than we know of.
Oh, yeah.
You know, closeted folks that are like, you know what? I'm not going to vote with my gay family. I'm going to vote with my pocket, right? Because still those people believe that Trump is more economic helping, which is not true. Which is not true. Like I said, you know, my wife is losing her mind, okay? But, you know, I can't blame her, right? She's like, oh, I can't wait to bitch about how high the gas is and how much I'm paying for eggs still during this, you know, during his presidency, because again, this is what's going to happen.
Right.
You know, but it's still a stark reminder that over 20 million Democrats didn't vote, right? And if we would have gotten those votes, we would have been in a different place right now, right? It still is on my mind that Latin people voted against themselves. It's still in Miami-Dade.
I was about to say
in Miami-Dade.
As a proud, you know, Miami-Dade, so not
Miami-Dade gay.
you know, grew up in that, you know, born and raised in Miami, to see Broward County go blue as it should, but then you got that Dade thing down there. I'm watching the results in Miami-Dade County, and I'm just, I mean, it just, I want to say it's surprising. I mean, I think we kind of saw it coming, but at the same time, just to see the state of Florida with that, with so much red.
And so quickly. Like, it was like one of the first things that dropped. I was like, okay.
I think almost before Alabama. It's like Alabama and Florida, Trump, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
But I kind of want to talk about the turnout in general.
Please.
Even Florida, I think 7 million eligible voters just did not cast their vote.
That's
huge
number.
I mean, I know Texas is not on anybody's radar, but that's a state that I spend a lot of time in. And that was another state that had a lot of people just didn't turn out, a lot of probably Democratic individuals, just because they just, Texas going red, don't need to bother going out there. It is the biggest red state. And,
but it's your civic duty. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You have to vote. It's so important. So I don't understand why.
I went to some city. Me and Steve, we went to Switzerland, and we went to a city where it's against the law to not vote, where you get a citation in the mail if you don't vote.
Wow.
Something so easy, right? I mean, especially when it's for you. You know, at the end of the day, I mean, I hate to bitch, and I hate that, you know, people are like, oh, Faye's just angry. Okay, yeah, I am. And I'm going to be angry for a little while longer. The reality is that a lot of men were not ready to vote for a woman president.
Right.
And that breaks my heart, because it just reminds me of how far back we continue to go. Right. You know, we're an upside down world, and it's like we continue to take steps back.
Yeah.
You know?
Misogyny and racism are what
absolutely.
I mean, full stop to me. That's what it is.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
The other thing I also think about with the voting is, you know, nobody knows everything on that ballot. So pick up the Dolphin Democrat guy. Talk to a couple people. I seek out other people's opinions, because, you know, I might know a local municipality thing I'm voting on, but, you know, who's sheriff of Broward County, I might seek out an opinion. I might,
all the judges and all that stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, it sounds lame, but sometimes I just look at who has the most people when I walk in, just because I'm like, well, if this many people supporting them, maybe there's something. I know that maybe that's not the best way to look at it.
No, it's probably not the best way. Okay, let me tell you another bad way. No, but let me tell you another bad way to choose your place, okay? Because again, I was one of those people that before Trump, I really didn't care enough, right? I voted every time because there'd usually be some hot polar girl that worked there, right? But honestly, I would look for the Latin last name. And that's why I would vote. No, but not good.
Yeah,
most
no,
Latin people
because
voted
they
against
could be-
themselves.
right,
Okay,
right.
you know that's not something I would do today, Harrison. But I know I'm not the only one. Okay, I know that last name. I'll vote for it. You know what I mean? And I think that's not
This
good.
is only
Must be
the,
my family member.
I think this is only the 5th presidential election. No, 4th. 5th or 4th. Sorry. With the whole Trump getting elected twice and concurrently, it's throwing me off. But yeah, first time was Obama in 2008. That's the first time I voted for president. So
Well, you did right the first
yeah,
time.
I'm still.
Yes.
Sorry, I'd like to think I've done right every time.
Right.
Definitely pick some losers.
You've done left every time.
Horrible. Next, let's queer up South Florida and Florida. Ricky Martin to headline World AIDS Day concert in Florida on December 2nd. Global superstar Ricky Martin will headline the 2024 World AIDS Day concert presented by AIDS Healthcare Foundation on Monday, December 2nd. It will be held at the Watsco Center in Coral Gables, Florida. The event, which takes place the day after World AIDS Day on December 1st, aims to unite communities in the fight against HIV, honor those affected by the disease, and remember those we've lost. The concert will feature a performance by renowned DJ and rapper DJ Spinderella of Salt and Pepper fame, along with the presentation of the AHF Lifetime Achievement Award to Dr. Julio Frank, the outgoing president of the University of Miami and the new chancellor designate of UCLA. Dr. Frank is celebrated for his contributions to HIV/AIDS treatment and global health initiatives, particularly his work in securing universal access to antiretroviral therapy in Mexico. Ricky Martin, a multi-award-winning artist and philanthropist, has been a longtime advocate for HIV/AIDS awareness, human trafficking prevention, and LGBTQ rights. His presence at this event underscores his continued commitment to using his platform to raise awareness for critical social causes. With approximately 1.2 million Americans living with HIV, the need for continued advocacy and action remains crucial, particularly in areas such as Miami-Dade County, which is the epicenter of the nation's HIV/AIDS epidemic. For further details of the concert and registration, visit ahfevents.org. Ricky Martin and DJ Spinderella? What a lineup! And what a just an incredible event and a very worthy cause. So go, get your tickets.
Okay, so you're going to go down to Miami from Broward. That's what I'm asking. You're going to go down, right?
I'm promoting the story and the event.
So that means no.
I'm a shut-in. It's hard enough to leave the house and come to the studio.
Oh my goodness.
This is true,
Wow.
right? Well, so Ricky Martin is going to be shaking his bonbon in Miami for, World AIDS Day, and I couldn't be happier. I just saw him do a Pride during Pride season. I was just it's so awesome to see him like in his own. He looks comfortable.
Amazing.
His kids are like, not all grown up, but they're like,
Right.
they're like taller than him. He looks good. I thought him and his ex would last forever. Oh well, gay love. It's how we roll. But I'm so happy that he's doing this. And a lot of the LGBTQ plus community is happy that he's doing this, to the point where both Flockfest and Sunserve are putting together buses to go down there. All right.
great.
So get your tickets for the bus as well.
You can go.
Right. But what a great way. You go down there with a nonprofit and you get a ride down there, because I know a lot of you queens are like, I'm not driving to Miami. I'm not driving to
Not that
Miami.
far.
Send me pictures, blah, blah, blah. And it's not even the tip of Miami. It's in Miami. It's by UM.
Yeah, Coral Gables is down there.
It's down there, and it's kind of only one way in and one way out, right?
Right.
So just understand
I-95
that.
ends right before.
US 1 is the only way to go, and that's how you're going to go, So grab a buddy or get on one of these buses and get down there. I mean, because it's a free concert.
But it continued props to Ricky, though, because, so many celebrities are not out there, not using their platform for the good.
Yeah.
And not that the judgment call, but they don't have to. But that he does, and
Yes.
that he continues to, and
Yes.
continue to expand that
Yes.
platform is, I think, so wonderful. It's just amazing, right?
Beautiful.
Bravo.
It's beautiful. And to him to just be his true authentic self. He was in the closet during the height of his popularity.
Kingdom, yeah.
That couldn't have been easy, you know? And he used to live down here in Miami. So for him to come down and do something like this, now mind you, I get it. He's getting paid. I understand. I'm not an idiot either, right? But he's still doing it. And HIV/AIDS still has a connotation to it. It still has a stigma to it, you know? And he's like, no, I'm here for the fight. And Spinderella was one of my very first crushes. I thought she was gay until the other day when she got married to a dude, right?
That doesn't mean she's not gay.
Well,
Doesn't mean anything. That's right.
that's true. But I think this is important more now than ever. The one thing that Miami is number one in the country is for HIV/AIDS diagnoses, especially in the Black and Brown communities. Black and Brown women, especially, are highly affected by this. So this is just so important, so important. And the day is so important as it is. Also December 1st. December 1st is World AIDS Day. I'm actually hosting an event for Broward House, and we're going to do a walk from Hagan Park all the way to the Pride Center. Very important. If you lost somebody or if you're living and thriving with it, right? It's a day to be aware. We've come a long way, but to get HIV/AIDS eradicated by 2030 something, which was the hope, right? Especially with the new government coming in, you're going to have to work harder now more than ever to make sure that happens.
Yeah. Funding is.
Yeah. But shake your bonbon, Ricky. Shake your bonbon.
Right.
Living la vida loca. All right. Next, let's queer up South Florida. In Florida, LGBTQ snowbirds face dilemma. Boycott Florida or visit for the sake of local queer businesses. Florida, a longtime winter haven for LGBTQ snowbirds, faces growing tensions as Governor Ron DeSantis' anti-LGBTQ policies cast a shadow over the Sunshine State. While queer retirees and travelers have historically embraced Florida's beaches and nightlife, this season comes with hesitation. Recent actions, including the removal of the LGBTQ tourism page from the Visit Florida website, amplify a legacy of exclusion. Ed Salvato, a leader in LGBTQ tourism advocacy, noted how anti-LGBTQ rhetoric combined with attacks on diversity and inclusion has alienated both visitors and locals. However, despite frustrations, Tony Adams, a former Fort Lauderdale resident, cautioned against abandoning the state entirely, saying, quote, "If we desert Florida now, we are depriving our LGBTQ plus businesses of the revenue they need to stay alive. The pendulum of acceptance in Florida swings violently, but history shows progress is possible," end quote. Nadine Smith, executive director of Equality Florida, echoed similar thoughts. She noted that the state earns billions from the gay dollar, yet it disrespects this significant contributor to its tourism economy. So should queer snowbirds exclude Florida this year? Local queer businesses hope not. And I hope not also. I know business owners. I love business owners. We patron business, LGBTQ plus businesses and our allies all the time. They need our support. Personally, I know 4 couples that have left. Like literally in the last couple months that have sold their home, figured it would be, and only one of those 4 couples had a trans child, right? And, having a trans kid, that completely changes the whole entire view on it. If my kid was trans, I would highly, highly think about moving out of the state just because gender affirming care might not be offered here anymore. I can go on and on and on, right? Their provider might lose their license. So many different things can happen in that aspect. But as a lesbian business owner, right, as a lesbian voice, me and my wife aren't going nowhere. You're going to have to frickin' rip the palm trees off our hands because I'm not going anywhere. You're not going to get me out of here. And trust, they want Florida to just be cisgendered white men living here. They want it to get to that point. Don't allow that to happen.
Yeah,
go ahead.
And I know people are leaving the country from Florida as well.
Yeah.
I mean, that's happening all over. But a lot, I've seen it a lot, and I hear it a lot. So it's really, I understand it, but I agree with you. I think we have to, dig in,
right,
and shake our palm trees and our pom poms, and we're queer, we're here, we're queer, we're not going anywhere.
Right.
Well,
someone who moved to South Florida from Chicago 10 years ago, I often find myself having to remind friends and family in blue places, including Boston and DC, where I've also lived, that boycotts would likely hurt local businesses and residents more than the state itself. The state is thriving with the amusement, Disney and Universal, but so the state will be fine.
Yeah.
But our community needs the support.
Our mom and pop places
Yes,
need that
yes,
help.
for
I did
sure.
a Wilton Drive block party a couple of weeks back, the day after the election, which I was in no shape to do,
Oh,
right?
God.
And I talked to these business owners that are scared. You know, all the rents have gone up, everything has gone up, right? You know, all the people who provide all their food and everything that they need, drinks and everything has gone up. You know, we need to go and make sure. I mean, Wilton Creamery. I love Wilton Creamery, and the fact that they were so affected by the parade, by the Wicked Manners. You know, I was like, okay, we need to go out there and help. You know, we do. We need to. You know, is it patronize? Would that be the word?
Yeah,
What a weird. Right? It sounds weird, right?
But then you think
Well,
about
it does have more.
Yes.
It has more
different.
meanings. Yes,
Okay.
Yeah,
for sure.
patronizing
Yes.
is very different from.
To patronize. A business.
This is why English makes no sense.
I like that we're kind of, you know, they're getting to the economy of this
Yes.
elements, you know, to
Yeah.
quasi take a playbook from one of my favorite meteors. You know, Florida is a winter state. We need winter dollars.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
I think that, you know, it's like other places are summer places, but Florida's supposed to be where you go in the winter, and it's supposed to, you know, be an escape. And if we're not, I know that that's what a lot of businesses, you know,
Count on.
Rely on.
Yeah,
Of course,
yeah.
of course.
It's kind of, you see all these plots and funny movies about, you know, the everyone bending over backwards for the summer. We bend over backwards for the winter. We're like Amity Island and Jaws for the winter. Here, different island. Wilton Island.
Or think about like
the Island City. Yeah.
You know, P-Town in the summer. You know,
You
don't want to go to P-Town in the winter.
No,
Tell
no,
me.
no,
It's really
no,
cold.
you do
Far Island
not.
either. Far Island.
Oh, both cold and cold and dank. That's
Yeah.
All right, go to your local businesses. All right.
Yes.
Next, let's queer up sports. The South Florida Amateur Athletic Association wins 2024 Gay Softball World Series. South Florida's LGBTQ Softball League scored big at the recent Gay Softball World Series in Las Vegas, bringing home 4 trophies, the most of any association in the International Pride Softball Organization. The South Florida Amateur Athletic Association stood out among nearly 200 teams from the U.S. and Canada. The Silverhawks took first place and won the World Series in Legends D Division. Glitterati claimed third in the Open E Division, and the Hunters Hurricanes in Alive and Kicking earned fourth place finishes in the Open D and Legends C divisions, respectively. 5 other teams placed in the top 10. The SFAAA Commissioner Rocky Bowell congratulated all the teams that placed and said, quote, "I'm very proud of our league that continues to compete on a national level and represent our community on and off the field," end quote. This milestone comes as SFAAA wraps up its 30th anniversary season, culminating with the Hurricane Showdown over Thanksgiving weekend. About 60 teams from around the country and Canada will be competing in the showdown this year. It will take place at Mills Pond Park, Tradewinds, and Brian Piccolo Park this year. The league will then resume in January, leading up to its 2025 spring season. You can learn more about the league at sfaasoftball.com. Well, I think that's very exciting for people who pay attention to softball, but I don't really keep up with it. But I do know a lot of people who do play softball, and I think it's amazing. I mean, it's great that we're like making such a, having such visibility and making such a mark on the association. I think that's great.
Right? And every time they have a showdown, I love that you go up and down the drive and you see everybody in their uniforms and whatever their uniform is, right? And it's always like the gayest uniform ever for some. And then others are like, we're here to play. Don't mess with us. You know what I mean?
I think I want my team to have like Daisy Dukes, construction, like that.
Thigh-high socks, you know what I mean? Stuff like that. Like, I mean, come on, right now we need community more than ever, right? So these events, like this kind of fellowship is so important.
Yeah, and it's got to be the mainstream. Sports is very mainstream. And I think a lot of people really, that's where they find more community, because people aren't always into the galas. They aren't into
Or the bars.
clubbing and bar hopping.
Yeah.
But, sports is very mainstream, and people can really access community, and that's very important.
You know, when you said, let's queer up sports, I thought we were going to talk about the Tyson fight, right?
What was gay about that?
Okay? That many of us watched it for no reason. We didn't even know why we were watching. You know what I mean? We're like, okay, this guy's a Trumper and this guy hasn't fought in 20 years. What are we doing? But,
And speaking of butt, they showed his butt on some behind the scenes. I was like,
See, I told you it was gay.
Wow.
I heard he's challenging former President Jimmy Carter to the next fight.
Ay, Dios mío.
Next, we are proud of our special partnership with Sunshine Cathedral, the world's largest queer church here in Fort Lauderdale. Supporting that partnership, we are broadcasting from our permanent set here at Sunshine Cathedral at the Happening Out television studios. We broadcast Sunshine Cathedral's Sunday International Service at 10:30 a.m.
Tonight's broadcast is presented by viewers like you and the generous support by Visit Lauderdale, everyone under the sun. We finished tonight's Queer News headlines with a segment we call LGBTQ plus 1 Minute News.
LGBTQ 1 Minute News, let's queer up entertainment. Holiday film Red One sparks a hotness debate. Dwayne Johnson versus Chris Evans. The holiday action comedy Red One, starring Dwayne Johnson and Chris Evans, has hit U.S. theaters. It follows Santa's kidnapping, after which the North Pole security chief, played by Johnson, teams up with infamous bounty hunter Chris Evans on a globe-trotting mission to save Christmas. Despite Amazon MGM Studios' $250 million investment, Red One's overseas box office haul sits at a modest $26.6 million. While critics question the movie's financial prospects, the gay internet is discussing who's the hotter holiday heartthrob, Dwayne Johnson or Chris Evans. Is your choice The Rock or Captain America? Here is what queer fans think. I'll have to take a pass on Johnson and Evans and take Jonathan Bailey as Fiyero and Wicked instead.
Okay, but that's not the question. The story was between them two. You gotta pick one. Chris Evans or Dwayne The Rock.
By the way, Red One is currently at 33% on Rotten Tomatoes. I choose neither.
Oh,
Chris Evans. Sorry.
Chris Evans for you?
Yeah.
Lucy Lou for me.
Lucy
Charlie's
Lou.
Angels always had an impact on me.
Right? Okay. Well, I picked Dwayne. All right. He's got a pet bear. I mean, hello. I mean, come on. That right there did it for me, you know. But again, just like I said in the last segment, we need silly stuff like this. I would never ever seek out a movie like this. You know how like Netflix has already started with all the stupid ass rom-com crap.
Yeah.
I can't sit through any of that, right? But like I need something like Red One to just laugh and see him fight a snowman and put it on a barbecue. Like that's funny shit, you know? I need that. Just saying. All right,
All
Dale.
right.
I mean, I'm sorry, I just got to say, because people will be upset about the definitive Christmas action movie is Die Hard, though. Sorry. Yeah.
Did they come out with a 15th one or something?
No, I think they're only at 7, but this red one's filling a specific niche, the Christmas action.
Oh, I didn't think
got
about
it.
that. And poor Bruce Willis won't be able
Bruce
to.
Willis.
No one can say yippee-yi-yay, motherfucker, like him.
That's right. You just did.
LGBTQ plus 1 minute news. Let's queer up entertainment. Lady Gaga is joining season 2 of Wednesday. Lady Gaga is reportedly joining the cast of Wednesday for its highly anticipated second season on Netflix. Gaga's involvement feels like a perfect match, especially after her song Bloody Mary went viral with Wednesday's iconic dance scene. Will she be a music or drama professor at Nevermore Academy? Or perhaps a monster stepping out of Wednesday's closet? The details are still under wraps, but LGBTQ fans are already thrilled to see glamorous Gaga sharing the screen with their favorite macabre icon. Well, I am a bit trepidatious because I just don't, this could go, many ways. It could go really north or really south because, of course, I love Gaga. I mean, we all love Gaga.
Yes.
And I love Wednesday. Jenna Ortega is amazing, and I'm really excited for second season. But I think it just remains to be seen if it's going to be a big hit or a big miss.
You're so sweet, Dale, because you don't want to say what you really are thinking. Joker 2 sucked ass. Joker 2 was awful. I had been waiting a whole year to see Lady Gaga in that role and thought that I was going to be blown away. I was happy that she wasn't singing sad songs about somebody who was going to die, right? I was happy about all that. And then Joker 2 was awful. So I'm hesitant.
Yeah.
Because of this, but Wednesday was such a good show that I think it's a good addition. I think that's going to be a good one.
Yeah, I mean,
because when she did American Horror Story, it was like ridiculous.
But
I love
what
it.
size role she'll have.
No.
I mean, it could be like in a cameo kind of. I think it's probably a safe bet.
She's a good actress.
Yes.
She's proven herself.
Been nominated for acting at least once, and I know she's won for her music and the Oscars. And I mean, bring it on, Gaga. I like that she's so multi-talented. Yeah, exactly.
Go Gaga.
Go Gaga, exactly.
LGBTQ plus 1 minute news. Let's queer up gay culture. Santa's Secret returns to New York City with naughty holiday fun on November 29th. Santa's Secret returns to New York City, turning West Chelsea into a 26,000 square foot holiday playground from November 29th to December 31st. VA's event invites all queer adults to immerse themselves in a 2-hour adventure through 8 dazzling installations filled with mischievous living toys, seductive gingerbread, seductive gingerbread ladies, and the iconic lumberjack for you guys. Guests dive into the festivities at Santa's Secret Speakeasy, where powerhouse vocalist Yang Bassi leads a live band, and Michelin-starred chef Richard Farnaby serves holiday-themed bites. Craft cocktails flow as Shaquita, the hilarious Ice Queen, hosts a jaw-dropping variety show featuring ballet, burlesque, and aerial acts. With all new sets and never-seen-before performances, Santa's Secret promises an unforgettable holiday celebration. Tickets start at a mere $75. Further information is available at santasecret.com. Bring it, do it, go VOS events, go do it all, okay? You got to continue to do these kind of events. We need to do it as much as possible, as long as possible, forever. Make that money, VOS, until you might not be able to.
Go on, Brandon. But it's this actually looks quite exciting. I'm not the biggest fan of Christmas. I mean, I kind of just not. But I know that's a weird thing because I direct music ministry in a church.
All right, Mr. Grant.
But I mean, I don't like Christmas carols and I don't like karaoke. I mean, these are the things I really don't like in life. But I think this looks kind of fun, and I like the idea of a playground and a playroom because it lends. The mind goes.
Right? Like a la Back Room at the Eagle.
Hello.
Secret no more. I don't traditionally leave South Florida between Labor Day and Memorial Day because it's too cold anywhere north of here, but have a good time if you go.
Listen, and you're bringing the queer aspect back to the Chelsea. Chelsea has become so straight, So I love that you're bringing that entity. And it did say, hey, for 2 hours, inviting all queer people, invite your allies, invite straight people, let them see the craziness that we make. We are fabulous. We make anything. Because Christmas can be so cookie cutter, the same crap everywhere you go, right? This is a different look of it. So go and enjoy.
I love just kind of been, I love Christmas. Sorry to disagree. But I cannot
fine.
get enough of Christmas. I'm a Whoville at my house. I start September 1st, literally kick off the season for me.
So you have
yeah, I don't celebrate Thanksgiving. I don't observe Thanksgiving. I go straight into Christmas.
I love it.
But, seeing
November 1st.
Yeah, Halloween could even be a little spooky Christmas for me. Wow. But, yeah, I mean, just to see the twist of holiday season. I mean, like, I actually, for one, love Hollywood, holiday-themed horror movies, so I love it. So I love it when Christmas gets a little twist of the, of the.
You want the red to be blood.
Yeah, exactly. I call it Christmas Xmas. Yeah.
It's like anything massacre, Christmas massacre.
Yeah, exactly,
Harry's like, I'm there.
It's exciting. But in this whole sexual wonderland thing, it's kind of exciting in its own right.
Titillating.
Yeah, titillating. Yes.
LGBTQ 1 Minute News. Let's queer up entertainment. Wicked's Jonathan Bailey had a totally hilarious fan encounter. Fans brought the drama at the Mexico City premiere of Wicked, but one gay superfan stole the show with a cheeky request. Jonathan Bailey, who stars as Fiyero in the highly anticipated movie musical, was handed a picture to sign. The picture was of his character from Fellow Travelers sucking on Matt Bomer's toes. The fan shared this moment on Twitter, showing Bailey signing the image with a huge grin before posing for a playful photo. While we're not sure if there's any toe-sucking by Bailey in Wicked, this video brought joy to fans awaiting the November 22nd release. Well, I can safely say, I'm under embargo, but I can safely say that there is no toe sucking in Wicked.
Okay, so you've seen the movie already.
Yeah, was it a press screening yesterday?
Is it good? You can't tell me anything, can you? Gregg, I will go to your house and steal your husband's CPAP machine if you don't tell me.
You can have my husband just leave the dog.
How do they do defying gravity? Tell me! I need to know. Me and Dale are going Thursday, and Gregg won't tell us anything.
It's already Monday.
He won't
Thursday
tell us
will be here before you know it.
They will not.
Well, you know what? I'm just kind of speechless for a moment, almost. Blah, blah, blah. Jonathan Bailey, he is so fine. And you know what? He's just so charming and dapper and handsome and so easy on the eyes and easy in his acting. And you know what's fabulous is that in Fellow Traveler, which was just amazing. I mean, I just loved it.
Yeah.
That he played that full-on gay character, and now he's doing these big screen, huge roles, and that says a lot for him and for Hollywood, finally. I think that's fantastic.
And he's an openly gay actor.
Very out gay actor.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, playing a very out
character,
sucking
toe.
Yeah, no, in Fellow Travelers, I'm glad that I saw him in Fellow Travelers before going to see him in Wicked. He was not on my radar. Sorry, gay boys.
Bridgerton.
I never saw Bridgerton. I'm not. I just finished Game of Thrones, kid. Like, I am late to every party, okay? Even my own. Like, it just is, right? The reality is that Wicked is the new Barbie. You guys remember how Barbie was? Yeah. We all supported it. Everybody dressed in pink. We all did the thing, right? This is what it is. And like you said, for Jonathan Bailey to get this kind of exposure, the reality is that a lot of people are probably now going to go and see Fellow Travelers because they've seen him in Wicked. Yeah. So I'm loving it. And the fact that I love fans, like fans are the best. Fans are going to go print out this picture of him sucking on toes and go, here, sign this. This is what I want you to sign, right? And he's like, didn't even flinch, right? It was like, hell yeah, that was some good toe sucking.
Can we get pointed and serious for a second? Sorry to musicals in the box office have not been doing well.
Yeah.
True.
Obviously I saw the Broadway show years ago, Wicked. Yeah. I'm not a big movie musical person. Obviously I will go see Wicked because I see pretty much every movie, but I'm really hoping that it breaks that
it could be
the drought, maybe, if you will.
But Barbie was musical and it killed it.
Yeah,
it killed it.
Well, was it a traditional music? I'm talking.
And you just hit something on the head that made me think about, like La La Land was also passable. You could sit through the music. The music seemed like a song that you had heard before, and that allowed you to stay and continue to watch it, right? And not tune out. I hope that, the reality is that people that are going to go see Wicked, a huge percentage are Wicked heads like me that will watch Wicked every single time it comes off Broadway, that goes to Broadway to see Wicked, that knows all the words, that knows all the songs, right? You got to give me some familiarity. You have to give me something that reminds me of and still stay true to the story, because even Idina Menzel has said that secretly it's a relationship between Alphaba, and Glinda. The guy's a part of it or whatever, but it really is about them.
Friendship.
Yeah.
And I loved my best friend too.
Yeah, right.
So
It's a beautiful story, and I hope it translates from the stage to the screen as well.
for sure.
LGBTQ plus 1 minute news. Let's grab gay culture. Gay men speak out. Porn versus reality. A recent thread in subreddit Ask Gay Men sparked an insightful discussion on how adult content shapes perceptions of real-life attraction. Beyond the traditional conversations of gay porn addiction, the post asked if, quote, they perceive IRL, in real life, men differently because of their NSFW, not safe for work viewing, end quote. People responded differently to the post, but most commenters said that they are happy to be able to differentiate fantasy from reality. One shared, quote, the more porn I watch, the more I'm into regular-looking guys, dad bods, older guys, and so-called flaws, end quote. Another added, quote, I love the perfectly built guys in porn, but also the chubby ones who know how to take care of me, end quote. LGBTQ sexual wellness experts have suggested that porn can create unrealistic and unattainable real-life relationship expectations. Well, I mean, this is an age-old story.
Right.
As long as there's been porn, there's been this conversation, or maybe not spoken, but an unspoken inner dialogue, like, am I seeking out that or am I seeking out this?
Right.
Porn is my boyfriend, because, I'm celibate for over 13 years now. So,
It still breaks my heart every time he says that out loud. All the ass he's missing. Oh, God, that breaks my heart. Porn is not real, okay? Porn is not real, okay? For the most part, it's not, okay?
It's more real than it used to be in a way.
It is, because now, there's OnlyFans and there's personal content and
Amateur,
there's POV, there's amateur, there's stuff like that, you can get that. But as my first introduction to porn was gay porn, and it's still the porn I watch today, right? But because I watched some straight porn, I was screaming and making all kinds of weird noises the first couple of times that I had sex that had nothing to do with what was going on, but because I thought that was how you were supposed to act. And the women part is always the worst part, right?
Yeah.
And so I was making all kinds of noises that nothing was happening, and I was still making those noises, Some porn should have some kind of disclaimer, like saying, hey, if you try this at home, make sure that, I just think.
Don't do this with those fingernails.
Don't do this with those fingernails.
Results may vary.
But am I lying though? There
No,
are
it's
people
the
that
truth.
won't talk to their friends or won't talk to their parents or won't talk to people about porn or about how sex goes, and then they think that porn is how it is, and then they have it, and it's really not.
Right.
I've always found it interesting that the stories that can sometimes, I guess, come out of that industry. Two of my favorite movies actually are on the backdrop: Boogie Nights and most recently Mac.
Oh, yeah.
They-
Right.
Two of my favorite, and I don't even think of them as like even the adult element of them. I think of them as just very impressive stories about people. So
It's a job.
yeah,
It's a job. for some
I
people.
guess.
Yeah.
Well, and to paraphrase the late Carol Channing, porn? When did I watch porn?
What?
Okay.
That's an obtuse reference.
Yes, it certainly is.
Well, yeah,
And I'm obtuse.
I got it.
That is today's news for the LGBTQ community on the world's first and only daily LGBTQ evening news show.
If our community is important to you, share this news with your friends and family. Join the conversation on your favorite streaming platform.
Queer News Tonight is the only live LGBTQ digital television show in the world that is out of the closet and into the headlines. We need your support. If our community is to grow, we must tell our stories and bring them to the attention of the broader world.
This is the only place in the world that tells these types of LGBTQ plus stories in motion and sound. And that is the passion of Hotspots Magazine, Happening Out Television Network, and Queer News Tonight. I'm your anchor, FayWhat! And on behalf of these LGBTQ plus reporters, the incredible anchors of Queer News Tonight, including Dale Stine, Gregg Shapiro, and Harrison C. Davies. We will see you daily at 8 p.m. into our LGBTQ plus world. We wish you good night!